Hello, everybody, and welcome to the first episode of the Moderately Athletic Podcast, Season 2. It's been long anticipated, long awaited, and it's finally here. I am your host, Sam Wontok, and we're all back after a little bit of a hiatus, and we're back and better than ever. Fellas, how are we doing today?
Go ahead, Tyler. Start it off.
I'm good. I will say I was so excited about recording today. I forgot to set my alarm, and I woke up. This is a true story, by the way. I woke up with 18 minutes to make it to work today. Okay?
My gosh.
And I made it there, and I was only 2 minutes late. So
Hot dang.
It's good that we're in separate rooms today because I probably smell awful.
I was gonna ask shower or no shower, but
unfortunately no shower, and I hate to start off the podcast admitting this that I did not shower today, but it went hair quick, clothes, brush the old teeth, sprint out the door. So
I would like to see you sprint out the door. I feel like that would be a very interesting sight to see, just like Ty behind you as you're running.
It was Looney Tune-esque the way my the way I was.
Well, Tyler, that's okay because it's probably better to be stinky because we're all going to get filthy up in these takes. All of our award predictions. I mean, it's going to get stanky in this pod.
Man, I'm really glad we're going for a more relatable feel this time around.
Oh, yeah. No, this is...
You guys ready to get stanky?
We're very relaxed. We're very relaxed. We're trying to target that new Gen Z audience, and I hope that I'm fitting the bill.
I mean, I quite literally
Decker,
have
how
my
are you
feet
doing?
up.
Are you clean?
I'm clean.
Or are you clean?
I'm pretty clean,
Okay.
Sam. I probably didn't get as sweaty as Tyler today, but the suit and tie, long pants. Very hot outside. Probably didn't get as.
Yeah, are you wearing shorts?
I've been wearing shorts. I've been wearing shorts all day.
Khakis or athletic shorts?
Athletic.
Athletic. Okay.
He had to think about it. He really had to think about it.
There was a lot of hesitation.
At first I thought you were going back to Tyler for a second about khakis or athletic shorts, but
no. Yes. Well, that's okay. But yeah, there we go. We got a little bit of a preamble, but now let's really get into the meat and potatoes. So we're starting this first episode off a little light. Nothing too crazy. We've all taken a little break from our podcasting duties, and so we got to strut out here with the training wheels before we put on the big boy pants. So today, we're going to be going over our 2025 NFL season award predictions. So we're going to go over all the big awards, we got the MVP, the Offensive Player of the Year, Defensive Player of the Year, the Rookie Awards, the Comeback Player of the Year, and the Coach of the Year. So, we're going to get started with the very first, the very biggest award that the league has to offer, and that is the Most Valuable Player. Last year it was Lamar Jackson in a year where a lot of the options were seen to be quite weak, but I think that we've all produced some names that could put on some big seasons. So, Tyler, I feel like since you can really relate to your pick, would you mind starting us off with your MVP prediction?
Yeah, and I do want to preface this by saying, yes, I am a Packer fan, and yes, I'm picking Jordan Love to be the MVP of the NFL in the 2024 season. And
Biased.
Obviously, there is going to be a little bit of favoritism for me. I do love my little Jordan Love, and I hope we pay him soon because as of now, he's sitting out of practice, waiting for that new contract, and he is going to get paid, and I'm all for it. I think he deserves it, but I want to get your guys' thoughts real quick on, you know, last year, Brock Purdy was, towards the end of the year, an MVP candidate, right? He even did receive some votes. And what were you guys' thoughts on that? Like, did you think he should have been there? Sam?
I would definitely. Oh well, thank you. Yes, I would definitely say that in a weak MVP year that he definitely played well enough to do that. I think he had one of like the highest touchdown percentages, and with the people that he was throwing to, like it was. I mean, you can make the argument that they're all really good young players, but no one that's really a standout. It's like Christian Watson and like Romeo Dobbs. So I think you made the argument that he really elevated the team around him by his play.
This is Brock Purdy.
Oh, what?
What are your thoughts about Brock Purdy's 2023 season? Did I say Jordan Love?
Sorry. No, but you were cutting out a lot, so I took a gamble.
I apologize.
As to what you were talking about.
No.
Okay, Brock Purdy, you want to know about?
Yeah.
I mean, I like Brock, honestly, like in all sincerity, but no, I don't think that anyone in their right mind should have voted him over Christian McCaffrey, just because I think it's the exact opposite of Jordan Love, where Purdy's supporting cast is so strong that it's
yeah.
I think anybody could thrive in that system.
Decker, I'd have to assume that you agree.
Yeah, I'm pretty much in the same boat. But
Yeah.
I think like Sam was saying, last year wasn't a really exciting MVP race towards the end. So I think a lot of people are getting votes that might not get votes again this year. Not saying Love won't get a vote, but it was a not a really good race. So
right.
I think Love can definitely be in that this year. I don't know if he's
I think Love
anything, but
yeah, I think Love is kind of he's gonna have kind of a Brock Purdy-esque season. I mean, they both run in that Shanahan system, and so everything is going to be top of the league efficient. You give those receivers one more year to be better. You give Jordan Love another year with the playbook. He's going to be able to change plays at the line of scrimmage this year, apparently, which he wasn't able to do last year. And, I think that a lot of the praise Purdy got, other than his raw stats, was that he was very efficient, and that's like the calling card of every Shanahan style offense, is that the EPA per play, though that's going to be very high no matter pretty much who the quarterback is. I mean, we saw Garoppolo take the 49ers to a Super Bowl one season. So, I think you give Love the chance to put up the numbers Brock Purdy did, maybe even juice him up more, because I do think that he's a more talented quarterback. You give the skill positions to hopefully take a step up, and I think you'll not only see the efficiency remain the same, but I think raw numbers wise, he's going to have a much more impressive season. So I think, if we're kind of basing off of who was in it last year and Brock Purdy, and obviously Brock Purdy's main ding was that he was on the 49ers. They had an amazing, offense around him. I mean, you could debate he wasn't even like a top 5 player on that offense, whereas Jordan Love is very clearly going to be the best player on that offense. And I think by doing that with lesser talent than the 49ers, and as a Packer fan, I can admit that, I would take the 49ers wide receiver core over the Packers tight ends, so I think that if Jordan Love does take another step, improves on the raw numbers, and holds that efficiency, I think that he would definitely be in contention for that MVP. Just because I think the supporting cast, just I don't want to say is bad enough, but he would be the one making them better, I guess, not the other way around.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I definitely get what you mean there. And yeah, if he can just play as good as he did in the back half during the front half, because he started slow, got better, I think he'll definitely be in the conversation no matter what.
That's gonna be like a big swing for me though too. Like my opinion on Love in the MVP race. Like, yeah, Love's gonna obviously, put the ball in places where he can make, playmakers around him better. But if the playmakers can actually step up too, like, can Watson actually maybe take a swing of how his career's kind of gone, and can Wicks elevate from his from his rookie year, and like Jacobs is going to be a good running back. He's going to do his job, but those younger receivers, as long as they can kind of maybe take an upstick in their career. So
I mean, yeah, they're definitely going to need to take a step up, but I could totally see I could even see a step down from last year, or at least the back half, just because of how good he was. But I think you give him a full season of that, he'll be right up there. So Jordan Love is my pick.
Yeah, I say that's a solid argument there. I'm gonna jump to mine quick just because it's not the most exciting choice, but I'm not going for exciting. I'm going for what I think is right, and I feel like, when you think about who's going to always be in the conversation, it's going to be Patrick Mahomes. I think that he's going to be the MVP again this year, and for really one main reason in my mind is that obviously the Chiefs are the Chiefs. They're going to be really, really good. They're going to get a lot of wins, and they're going to be definitely in the Super Bowl hunt for the entire year. And the biggest difference with this team this year compared to last year is who Mahomes is throwing to. When you look at I'm all the receivers that he had last year were his top guy was like Kadarius Toney, Sky Moore, and towards the latter half of the year we started to see kind of a Rashee Rice show up. Now unfortunately he might not be there, but
we'll see.
Now you look at, it's still up for some.
There has been
there's still a chance he'll be around.
There have been players that get a very light slap on the wrist for worse things than what Rice did. So we'll see. It was the fact. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, like, I think worst case scenario is probably like a 8-game suspension, maybe half a season. But
yeah,
I would say
probably
honestly,
more like in the 4 range or something.
I would say 6 at the most. I think the fact that it was back to back, like, occasions where he was doing something not ideal, that would go in. But I mean, he's been clean since then, so I guess we'll see.
Yeah. So that's certainly up for like contention. But I mean, even if he is there, someone who became a very reliable target for Mahomes, that's going to be really good. But then there's a very good chance that he'll be the third receiver on this offense, since they added Marquise Hollywood-Brown in free agency, and they drafted Xavier Worthy, who got the fastest 40-yard time in NFL history. So you basically have a Tyreek Hill replacement, close, and you have Brown, who is going to likely catch a lot better than Toney was. So I think you take the same quarterback, who is the best in the league, there is no denying that, and you give him a significant upgrade in weapons. I think that the sky is the limit for this offense. I think you take out a couple picks, you add on a couple touchdowns, add some more yards, and it's a very, very solid MVP campaign that voters just going to go for because it's Patrick Mahomes. Like, why wouldn't you? He is the new GOAT, as everyone seems to say. So, not much there for me.
Yeah.
Those are my thoughts.
I mean, it's a safe pick. I mean, he's clearing away the best player in football, so, I mean, I'm not going to hate on it.
No.
Yeah, I know. I definitely took it safe. I think I got a little more crazy later on, but I wanted to have at least one solid guess. All right, Decker, who's your MVP?
I went with C.J. Stroud this year, and it would be a pretty good jump for him to go from Offensive Rookie of the Year to MVP. But I think it's something that could definitely be a possibility, mainly because he didn't in the entire offense. He really didn't lose any pieces. Major thing was keeping his OC, Bobby Slowick, I believe his name is, and then you still got Tank Dell there. You got Nico Collins, Robert Woods. You add in Diggs, Dalton Schultz. Just the camaraderie he has with those guys, and then adding Diggs on top of that is big too. I think this is going to be a Texans team that takes it can't be a major jump from what they were last year, but I still think they're going to take a jump regardless. And the only tough thing I could see with obviously an MVP case for him is the defense is going to be really good too with D'Amico. So there could be a lot of games where the defense just shuts it down, they blow him out, and he's not passing for as much later in the game. But I still really like him as a quarterback. I think he's all-world quarterback, camaraderie within the system and the weapons around, and I think there's a pretty good case there. So,
are you worried at all about a sophomore slump?
I'm not really too much with him.
No.
I'm more confident in him than maybe others in years past, but I just think he's just such a good quarterback where I can't really see a slump happening. I don't know.
Yeah,
Maybe
I know that.
Differently, but
I know that Slowick ran like the most like run pass play selection in like the league or like one of the most. So fairly predictable, but the skill players and the quarterback were so good that it didn't really matter. And Slowick, the other thing, speaking of the OC and also having a defensive head coach, they run the hell out of the ball. Like Devin Singletary last year, this is Devin Singletary we're talking about. He would have like 30 rushes a game by the end of last year. And so like per like just like pure volume, I would be a little worried just because, volume is king, especially when it comes to just like pure numbers. That would be the biggest thing, but we'll have to see. I am a little interested to see if a sophomore slump happens. I don't think it's out of the realm of possibilities, but I mean he definitely proved himself to be top 10, if fringe top 10, if not top 10 quarterback in the NFL last year. So I don't hate the pick. At least it's not Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah. Oh, hey, come on. I mean, yeah, because I will say, briefly, sophomore slump. I think it could happen realistically, just because, he's been like so highly regarded and talked about that I don't know if that's something that can maybe go to a guy's head like that.
I don't even think going to his head. I would just say like expectations for him are quite high, and a lot of people are kind of he's a dark horse MVP candidate, and so I think not that puts pressure on the player, but that puts the audience in a weird spot, because if he doesn't live up to these like ultra elite MVP caliber season, then it's going to be a disappointment. But we'll have to see. I mean, the thing with Patrick Mahomes that I think we should touch on is, compared to our other two, is, I mean, the Chiefs are far and away the best team in their division. And Texans, while yes, I would pick them to win the South, Colts are, a very good team with Richardson back. Mm-hmm. And you never know. I don't think very highly of the Titans or the Jaguars, but same with the Packers, the Lions are the favorite to win the division. So can you really have an MVP that doesn't even win their own division? I think that's one of the biggest things that we need to see happen for both of these guys this year.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. No, yeah, you definitely need that division win. All right. Well, moving on, we're going to go on to our offensive player of the year. We got a lot of skill positions on tap here, so I suppose we can just jump right into it.
Yeah.
I might.
It would be boring to pick a
I think
quarterback
I'll-
for this. It's like,
Yeah, like
you can't
I-
do that. And when was
No,
the
you
last time
can't,
quarterback
no.
was Opoi?
was that the Brady? No, Matt Ryan did he win MVP and then
Yeah, Matt Ryan got MVP,
and then
it was.
wasn't Brady Opoi that year? Yeah, we'll check it.
Gosh, I don't.
I'll
remember.
check. I'll check it.
you know,
Decker, you talk about Saquon.
Regardless. Yeah, I'll start it
you
off.
ahead.
I'll start off with new guy in the new team, Mr. Saquon Barkley. I'll kind of keep it a little short with this and let you guys build off of it. But major thing for me is the change of teams, going from the Giants to the Eagles. Instantly, overnight, goes to from one of the worst or bottom half of lines in the league, interior wise, to just the best team in the league with interior wise with Landon Dickerson. Yeah, you lose Jason Kelsey, but Cam Jurgens hopefully steps up. So I think production wise, he should probably, I would say, get like the most touchdowns he's ever had in his career this year. As long as the rumors are true of maybe them kind of pushing off of the tush push, and maybe Saquon will get the all the goal line work in a sense. So I just like the change of scenery. Think he could have a CMC type year. Maybe not so much in the receiving game as much as CMC is, but I think running the ball he's going to be really, really efficient this year.
Oh no! I mean, because it really can't be understated how much he's gone from one of the worst offensive situations in the league to one of the best. I think that is going to be absolutely huge for him, and I would have to agree that he's going to be a very, very productive player this year. Tyler, you get any news on that? On the
Yeah.
boy situation?
And I can't help but laugh because this is, I thought this was what it was, but I was like, no, that's too weird. It can't be that. So I just said Tom Brady won Opoi. Tom Brady was second in MVP voting to Matt Ryan, who won MVP. And then Matt Ryan also won Offensive Player of the Year that year in front of Aaron Rodgers.
Wait, what?
Yes. So
I didn't think that was allowed.
yeah, I remember that being like, what the
Son of
hell?
a gun.
You can do that? So, so a quarterback has won
I think I do.
Offensive Player of the Year.
Okay.
Very interesting.
I think I distinctly remember that too because I think we heard who the offensive player of the year was, and so we heard it was Matt Ryan. We were like, oh, so it's not going to win MVP.
Well,
and then he did.
I mean, Patrick Mahomes also
Useful
won
Pandora's
Opoi.
box to my brain.
Yeah, I guess Patrick Mahomes also won Opoi in 2018 and MVP in 2018.
Okay.
God, Drew Brees finished second in both. That guy could not get a single thing. Poor Drew Brees. Okay.
Yeah, he really.
Yeah,
he really got
going off
shafted there at the
yeah,
end.
going off of Saquon. I mean, it's
Yeah.
I think just like look at how productive. Well, maybe not how productive, but DeAndre Swift was productive in the Eagles' backfield. There's a reason why DeAndre Swift is on like his fourth team in like 4 years now, or is it third team in 3? I can't remember. Lions.
Third.
Yes, third team in 3 years. Like, he's not a good back. Like, straight up. His vision sucks. And you give a guy like Saquon, who has fantastic vision, can even help this offensive line by setting guys up on the second level. I mean, I could totally see that happening. And, yeah, I mean, I'm a little concerned about the tush push, and if they keep doing it, he just won't have the touchdowns. But I guess we'll have to see what the impact of not having Jason Kelsey will be on this offense as a whole. So
Yeah,
I do hope that the tush push just stops working, because then it'll make like Kelsey the greatest center,
yeah,
if not already.
yeah,
Like, yeah, to take
For
this
sure.
thing that was so automatic and just it completely combusts while he's gone.
yeah,
That would be insane.
And now this year's
But-
what? Kellen Moore at OC, correct?
yeah. That means they're gonna throw the ball more.
Oh,
I
yeah,
think
right.
so. We'll see.
Yeah, well, I hope that it works.
Sam, do you want me to go?
But
I mean, you're gonna like it.
I do really like what I'm seeing on this Google sheet. So I'm gonna let you gas up my boy.
All right, I picked Justin Jefferson, and this is kind of like the boring one, like Sam picking Patrick Mahomes. I mean, he's clearly the best wide receiver in the league, and the reason why I picked him is because I think he'll put up crazy good numbers, but I even think he's gonna get a boost just from having kind of bad quarterback play, and I think he will win. I think he'll individually win games for the Vikings, and if any skill position can do that, I think they're far and away an Offensive Player of the Year favorite. So I'll keep it short and simple. You just got to get the best guy on the field the ball, and good things happen when Justin Jefferson gets the ball. So
Yeah. That's always something that I've been worried that I'm being biased about is like when I watch Justin Jefferson, I feel like I've never seen someone do the things that he does. I don't know if that's just my like rose tinted glasses, maybe slightly, but I mean he's one of the most impressive athletes I've ever watched. And yeah, the fact that he got 1,000 yards in 10 games last year, absolutely insane.
yeah,
I think if he can do that with like Nick Mullins,
right.
and
That was my
Jaron
thinking.
Hall.
It's like if Nick Mullins can make this dude look like a god, then I would like to think that Sam Darnold and JJ McCarthy will be like more competent than Kellen Mond, or not Kellen Mond. Why did I just say that? Darren Hall and Nick Mullins, and so Jaron, whatever. He's never gonna start again in his life. So,
yeah, fair enough.
So I mean, yeah, he's inevitable, man. He's like Thanos.
Hey, they're both purple.
Yep.
That is true.
Yeah.
All right, I like your pick
Color
though, Sam.
association.
I like your pick a lot.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
I also like mine too. Right before we started recording, I actually had it set to CD Lamb, but then I thought to myself, I kind of started connecting the dots in my brain. That there's an interview quote that I think about, and it was that we're going to give this player a role like McCaffrey, and because sure you can say that, but this is a player that from the very little we saw of him last year, I think he can actually do it, and that is Bijan Robinson. As someone who drafted Bijan Robinson in fantasy last year, round 1, pick 11, I was incredibly frustrated. I believe Arthur Smith is an absolute bum, and
He's a
the
bum.
only reason why he has any work, a bunch of bumps.
He's a bum.
And the only reason why he has a job is because his dad is like the guy from FedEx or something.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's just Daddy Warbucks putting in the money. That scheme makes no sense to throw the ball to Jonnu Smith more than you do to Kyle Pitts, to give the ball to Algier more than give it to Bijan, who was like your 5th overall pick in the draft. Crazy stuff going on there. But now that you have Raheem Morris in house, you have a really good quarterback. Compared to Desmond Ridder,
Yeah.
a very good quarterback in Kirk Cousins. And if you plan to give him that rushing and that receiving work, I really do think that his volume, being an incredibly young guy, lots of health, I think that Bijan Robinson can really easily run away with this award. Just from the little bits we saw, he had some incredible catches, some just awesome long runs, breaking tackles, juking guys out. I think he's going to be really, really good this year. So,
Yeah.
hopefully it works.
Yeah. I mean, I would have picked Bijan even if that CMC thing wasn't said, because I mean, I don't know if you guys remember this, but a few years ago when Antonio Gibson was on Washington, they said that they were going to use him like the Panthers used CMC, and that literally never happened. So I mean, I personally don't buy into that kind of coach speak. I mean, I don't know. I think CMC is still right now a one of one. Just the way that you can utilize him. I think Bijan is very talented, but I mean, who wouldn't want a guy like CMC? Like, of course they're gonna say that. So I mean, that stuff I don't really buy into, but nonetheless, I mean, you could see this guy.
Yeah.
I mean, very easily, like, crack 1,500, 1,600 all-purpose yards this year. So, maybe even more, but, yeah, I'd like the pick.
Yeah,
I'm
really excited to see Bijan's numbers this year because, like you said, Sam, about Arthur Smith, like, no other coach in this league is going to do what Arthur Smith does, where there's going to be games where Algier is going to get more touches than Bijan, or there was that game late in the season last year where, like, he had, like, an illness or something they said before the game, and then he was actually on the field and dressed and just never put him out there. That game in Tampa. So, like,
I started him that week.
Yes,
Sam traded him to me.
That's right.
So, I got CMC, baby.
I was at work.
Yeah, there's going to be, like, no games like that again, is my point. So
yeah.
Yeah, he's going to get plenty of work. Definitely going to be a 3-down back. So that I really like. Shifting over to the other side of the ball, we have the Defensive Player of the Year. Looking at what we have right now, we got 3 big boys on the D-line who we think are up for grabs. Well, I guess one of them sometimes plays linebacker, but we got some great names on tap. Decker, I hate to put you on the spot, but I think your pick is interesting to me, so I want to hear about it.
yeah, I went really fun with this one just because this is a pick that I really would like to see happen, and that's Brian Burns winning DPOY. Now, he still did put up good numbers in Carolina. I won't deny that. He would get double-digit sacks and everything, but I just really like the fact that now he's got a true, like, decent and good pass rusher opposite of him and Kayvon Thibodeau, where I think both those guys are going to kind of... It could be like a Daniil and Will Anderson situation in Houston, where I think those guys are just going to build off each other really well. And I think I could just see this year a lot more times where... Because the Giants are going to have, is it a third or fourth place schedule? One of the two. I can't.
Easiest schedule.
Yeah, it's pretty easy though.
Well, yeah. I don't know.
So
yeah.
So I could see some situations too where he's going to be facing some bad O-lines, and I could see a situation this year where he gets 17.5 or 18.5 in their sacks and maybe like 3 or 4 forced fumbles, and I think he could put up some really strong numbers opposite the obviously favorites. So I got fun with it, but it's something I really hope to see happen.
I'll be honest.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna be honest. I don't even see this happening as like a long shot. I'm sorry. Like, first of all, I don't even think Brian Burns is good enough to get to that caliber. But Derek Brown, his, defensive tackle when he was on the Panthers, was a freaking beast this year. Like, an absolute maniac. Put up, I want to say, over 100 tackles for a defensive tackle. So he had a crazy good year and also is a very good pass rusher. And, what did he get for double-digit sacks? Like 11, 12?
Maybe 12 and a half it was. 12
yeah.
12 and a half.
So, I mean, still good numbers, but personally, I mean, I don't know what the Giants are doing trading for him. Like, if you're, I don't get if you're Carolina trading him away besides the contract. Like, I don't know. I think it's a long shot, and I'm sorry, I just have to. Thibodeau is not good. I look at his sacks he got last year, and
he's
just
still young.
Yeah.
He's still
yeah,
quite young.
he got over 10 sacks, but all of them, I want to say like 90% of them, was the quarterback just like falling over in front of him, or like them running right into his arms. Like, not even right place. It was more right place, right time, and less skill. So I mean, I think the bigger benefit to Brian Burns is still having a defensive tackle like Dexter Lawrence next to him on the same side potentially. I think that's an even bigger boost than having Thibodeau on the other side of the defensive line.
I mean, I would still say that's an upgrade over.
Yeah, no.
Whoever was in Carolina last year.
I mean, yes,
that's still a lot better.
Dexter Lawrence is definitely top 3 defensive tackle, but I mean, Derek Brown. I don't know if you guys seen, but he had a very, very good year, especially for being in Carolina. So,
who's the Giants? Do we know who the Giants' new DC was again? Because they replaced Wink Martindale. Can't remember who they replaced him with now, but
I'll Google search it.
Yes, thank you, because I have no idea. I don't think it was a big name or anything.
It was the Titans' defensive coordinator, Shane Bowen, which makes no sense because the Titans had a horrible defense last year as well. But
Shane Bowen.
Interesting.
Yep. All right, Sam. I'm gonna go with mine because mine is chalk. I went with Micah Parsons purely on the fact that he is due. I mean, for the past couple of years, he's been, when healthy, he's been one of, if not the best pass rusher in the league, and you need to get sacks for this award. So, new defensive scheme, obviously, with Zimmer coming in, and I do think that the defense is going to be better. I think, I had high praise for Dan Quinn, but there were some pretty obvious flaws to it. And the Packers, I mean, obviously exposed them in the playoffs. But, I mean, like I said with Garrett last year, he's just due. He's one of the best players. I think he'll get one.
Yeah.
And he should.
Yeah.
That's certainly someone who, they've been really good for a while. And you can make the argument that they are due. I'm just going to jump into mine because I think that you can make the same argument for my fella over here. We got Max Crosby. I mean, he was a guy last year who a lot of people said should have gotten it. I mean, Myles Garrett was also really good, but yeah, Max Crosby was very much up there as well. What do you have, like 18.5 sacks last year? Something like that?
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, for the team that he's on, and unfortunately, I don't think it's getting any better. 5 wins max, I would say, for the Raiders. But he's a Derek Brown in a sense, where it's like, I don't know how he's doing what he's doing in the situation that he's in, but he's absolutely insane. I think he's a similar guy where it's like Aaron Donald was winning. No, people said, why isn't TJ Watt winning? And then it's Watt wins, and it's like, why isn't Myles Garrett winning? Myles Garrett wins. Why isn't Max Crosby winning? I think that he's in that line to be due next. I think Micah Parsons, you can definitely make the argument as well.
Here, I'll make the argument again.
I almost think...
I'll make the argument for Micah Parsons again. Ready? He's due. All right, I'm done.
Well, you can't just make your
he's due.
D really enunciated
due.
And expect to be. Well, I would say Max Crosby is due, and the fact that he's
not doer than Micah Parsons. He's not doer than Micah Parsons. So.
He's the doist. He's not going to get anything else in his career. He's not going to win a ring.
We should get a Mountain. We should get a Mountain Dew sponsor from all the dews we're going to be putting out here.
Yeah, we're going to be saying do a lot. And I would say we got a lot of do fellas. And whoever's going to get their due first, we'll see.
Yeah. I like the pick.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It's a nice one. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, moving on, we have the Offensive Rookie of the Year. This is, looking at our picks, we got the top 2 guys who I'm sure are the betting favorites, but there is nothing wrong with that because that's just usually how it goes, I think. But yeah, we're going to, Dick, we have the same pick, so I'm going to let you speak for both of us on who our Offensive Rookie of the Year prediction is.
Yeah, I'll keep it pretty simple. Me and Sam both got Caleb Williams. I mean, it's a quarterback award in a sense, because like I can remember back in 2020 when, we obviously, Sam, we might be a little bit biased, but I think the numbers backed it. I think we thought that Jefferson should have won Offensive Rookie of the Year, and we thought it was as
he should have,
a Rookie of the Year, and and it goes to Herbert. So I think Caleb Williams won't have to do a whole lot. I think he could be very mediocre at best and could still pull out with it. And so, yeah, that's about it. I think he's got a good enough cast around him where he can put up some solid enough numbers. I don't think maybe team-wise they might not put up a good record-wise or anything, but I think just offensive-wise they might be able to do just enough for him to get it. So,
yep. I mean, summed it up pretty well because I feel like Tyler's pick, this person is going to have to be great, and they certainly could be, but it's unfair because as a quarterback, Caleb simply just has to be good.
Yeah.
Maybe even average. And so that's why I picked that. But Tyler, please share as to why you picked Marvin Harrison as your Rookie of the Year.
Yeah. I mean, this real quick. I mean, the sad part is like the Bears literally just have to make the playoffs, and Caleb is probably going to win it. Like, he'll be a shoo-in for it, even, like, no matter what the stats he put up. As long as he starts all games. If they make the playoffs, he's going to get it. That is unless Marvin Harrison puts up Marvin Harrison Jr., I should say, puts up a historic season, which, I think he is totally capable of. I think, Jefferson coming into the league, putting up the numbers that he did, and then still losing to Justin Herbert. Obviously I can admit, I think Jefferson should have won as well. But I think Harrison is going to have a good enough year, or a great enough year, that I don't even think that there's going to be a conversation like that. I think that he's going to be far and away the best offensive rookie this year. And it is sad that it is a quarterback award. I am aware that, like, even though Harrison is coming into this situation where he's got a pretty good quarterback in Kyler Murray, and he's going to be the number one pass catcher on that team, so he's going to have the opportunity. But he's not a quarterback, and even Jaden Daniels has better odds to win the award than Marvin Harrison. So, it does suck, but I think by the end of the year we'll all know who the offensive rookie of the year is, even though if that person might not win it exactly. And I mean, we see it with the MVP as well, especially this year with CMC. But it's
just
just
so
one of
fun
those.
though to have Harrison. It would just be so fun to see him just put up these monster numbers and actually rightfully get it. So
I agree, and it's so in the realm of possibility for him to go out and just have a record-breaking year. So that's why I picked him. If he wasn't capable of that, or at least 50% chance capable of that, I wouldn't have picked him. So
yeah, exactly. I all the word out of camp that I've heard is that he's just super pro ready, and he's going to be just really good going into week 1, is what I've been hearing. So it's certainly possible. Jumping over to the other side of the ball, we have the defensive rookie of the year. Deck and I are going to look a little biased, so I'm going to let Tyler go first and share his pick.
don't worry, Sam. I'm not biased. This is a different guy.
yeah,
This is somebody else.
This is somebody else.
Who is this? Byron Murphy?
oh my god,
no.
you're the
I'll
host
start it
of a
off.
sports
no.
podcast, and you don't know that there was
Oh.
a Byron Murphy drafted this year by the Seattle Seahawks,
Oh.
number 20 overall.
Oh my gosh. I'm dumb. Oh man.
I'll start it off then.
Hey,
since
real
we're
quick,
not-
about this guy.
Decker and I, we are looking for a new host for our podcast. If you would like to reach out, it's askmoderately
No.
at gmail.com. So anybody
I should have
really.
I should have thought about that because that makes no sense what I thought.
we'll be
Yeah,
doing
you were
interviews
to
soon.
clarify, you were thinking of Byron Murphy, the Vikings cornerback. Is this correct?
Yes.
Yes, I was.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's the whole Josh Allen thing. I hate how these guys. I mean, I thank Josh Hines Allen for going and changing his name so I don't have to look like a silly guy for that one anymore. But Byron Murphy, I'm currently rooting on your downfall because he made me look silly.
Yeah, I'll start it off then since we've been talking about him in the name enough.
Go ahead,
so
Dick.
I picked Byron Murphy, which I guess I should have clarified, Sam. I should have put the second. I think he goes by the second with like the two Roman numerals.
Yes. Yeah.
But yeah, I this is a guy I'm surprised his odds aren't a little bit higher for it. I think he was like, when I was looking into it, I think he has like the 8th or 9th, or maybe 7th or 8th, whatever it is. But I would think he'd be a lot higher because he's walking into a system where it's going to be Mike McDonald in there now at head coach. Comes over from the Ravens as from their DC, and this is a coordinator that turned Justin Madubuike into this, top 5 nose tackle / DT whatever in the league. And now you get Byron Murphy, who was this All-American at Texas, and you watch his film, and he's just the way he blocks sheds and can get into that backfield. And he's got Leonard Williams opposite of him, so he's going to get a little help there too. It won't be just him it won't be like a Harrison Phillips per se with the Vikings where he's like forced to do this extra work. He's going to have a little bit of help there. And yeah, if McDonald gets, obviously he's got his hands on this guy now, I think Byron Murphy could have a really, really productive rookie year.
Nice.
I like that. I like it a lot. I think he's uber athletic. I mean, just an absolute freak. He's insanely quick. I worry about his run defense a little bit, just because he is a little bit of a smaller defensive tackle. But, we've seen smaller defensive tackles be very, very successful in this league. So if he puts up the right numbers, I could definitely see it happening.
Yep. Because I'm not going to weigh in because I literally...
Sam just found out about him.
I clearly did not know who he was. But, yeah, good pick. Tyler, tell us about your guy here.
Yeah, I'm going to call an audible. I don't know why I chose Terrion Arnold. I mean, he's in a very good situation to do it, but I'm just going to switch because I like this player immensely more. I think Leatu Latu is far and away the best pass rusher in this draft class, and the worry about him is that he's not going to be on the field enough to get the numbers to do it, but I think he'll be on the field for enough third downs that he's going to get enough sacks. And I don't know how much you've watched of Leatu Latu, but for the little that I have watched, he is like a pass rushing ninja. He just knows how to swat hands away. He knows how to dip and evade people. He's not insanely quick. He's not insanely strong. He's just a ninja. He just appears and reappears right in the quarterback's lap. So I just like the guy a lot. I think the Colts got an absolute steal when they drafted him. What was it, 15? So...
Yeah, first he was the player off the board, too.
Yeah, so...
At 15, it's crazy.
Yeah, so I am going to call a little bit of an audible. He is the odds-on favorite to get it anyways, so it's kind of boring, but yeah, I really like Leatu. I hope he can stay healthy.
Yeah, and he should be on the field day 1, week 1 out there.
No, most definitely. Yeah.
He should be opposite Quiddy Pay or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
He should Samson Abucom, I think is was their starter last year. There was talks about if he's going to be out there or instead of Latu. It's Latu should be out there.
And they got DeForest Buckner, and they got Grover Stewart, and Quiddy Pay is whatever. He's a better 2 than a 1, but I mean that defensive line that's a good defensive line right there. So. I could see the Colts having a very good defensive season purely based off of that defensive line play.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not going to disagree. I think that's a good pick. It's the betting favorite for a reason. So, moving on to mine. Since I've been questioning my own mental fortitude, I had to search of the depth chart just to make sure that he had a chance to see the field. And because my pick is Dallas Turner. Yeah. Uh, Dallas Turner, the Vikings' second first round pick. Um, this is a guy who, I mean, I think he's going to see the field. I looked at the depth chart. I saw that he's currently sitting behind Jonathan Bullard, but not that I know the guy, but just looking at his stats, I don't think he's going to
Not
be
for long.
there for too long.
Yeah.
So then, Dallas Turner, very, very, very good chance he'll be a week 1 starter, if not a week 2 starter. He's another guy who, I mean, a lot of experts weighed in saying he was incredibly pro ready, and it's in a Brian Flores scheme that, I mean, they did a really good job last year working with the guys that they had. I mean, it was a scheme that a guy like Daniil Hunter thrived in basically on his own, and now you take Dallas Turner, who now has a solid edge rusher option in Grenard next to him as well. I think that he's got a very good situation that a young pass rusher could easily thrive in. So that's my reasoning behind that one.
Yeah, like you said, he's really lucky to get a coordinator like Flo that is gonna find ways to utilize him. It's not some bum off the street or whatever that's coming into a coordinator spot.
Yes.
It's a guy that's utilizes his players, and like you said, he's gonna be out there for a lot of pass rushing situations, and like you said, hopefully he can feed off them. That'd be really nice to see.
Yeah, definitely. Well, moving on. Next, we have comeback player of the year. This one is a little boring. Nothing too crazy going on here, but that's simply because if this person can play more than 4 snaps, then they're practically a lock to get it. But granted, we said that last year, and who knows? Tyler, would you like to weigh in on your old friend?
Yes, I would, Sam. And let me just say that this Comeback Player of the Year award, it's actually it's a good class, at least this top 5. In betting odds, I should say. It's Aaron Rodgers, followed by Joe Burrow, followed by Kirk Cousins, followed by Anthony Richardson, followed by Nick Chubb. So, I mean, whoever wins this award is going to have to play their butt off. Or they can play mediocre and just have a very good story. And I think Rodgers he's got that narrative, man. He's in his 20th year. He's old. He took a trip to Egypt instead of practicing earlier this spring. And I think, if he just has a he's got to play better than mediocre, first and foremost. But yeah. I think if this Jets team makes the playoffs, and even though if the playoffs aren't counted in the awards, they kind of are just a little bit, and they win a playoff game, I could see Aaron Rodgers winning this award pretty easily. And the things, in his favor are, he's back with Hackett. I mean, they've had great success in Green Bay. Hackett is a horrible play caller. And I mean, it's gonna be Rodgers' offense. He's gonna do what he wants to do. Hackett is just gonna be, I don't know, playing on a Game Boy during the game on the sideline, while Rodgers just commands that offense. And he's got one great skill option in Garrett Wilson. The rest is yet to be determined. But we know what you're getting out of Mike Williams. The running back is going to be very good. And going against him, he's 40 years old, coming off an Achilles injury. Unlike Kirk Cousins, it's not his planting foot, so he tore his left Achilles, which is a good sign. But you never know how guys come back from this stuff. So obviously that's not ideal. And also this offensive line is it's questionable as well. I mean, they got some pieces to kind of shore it up, but that's not without guys that have their own injury history, guys who aren't also ancient like Rodgers. So, yeah, I think there's enough going against him, but just enough going his way where he could be the comeback player of the year. If not, MVP by the end of it if he plays well enough. So we'll just have to see.
Yeah, that's something that I'm really glad you brought up was the big question mark with his O-line. Because granted, Zach Wilson wasn't great, but he could move, which was something that was definitely necessary. But this is a team that if the O-line can play well, I mean, it's such a good defense that they are just a quarterback away from being really, really good.
And that's the thing is, like, that defense just needs a competent quarterback on the other side for them to make the playoffs. So, and obviously, we know what Rodgers is when healthy. We'll have to see what he is coming off this injury. But, I mean, yeah, I'm very interested in this Jets team this year.
I think the funniest thing I've seen with Rodgers within the past week is the fact that, like you said earlier, Sam, he played 4 snaps last year, yet in the top 100 players, he's still got 92nd. It's like...
Oh, yeah, I was going to mention that. I forgot.
It's just like, just... And like we're talking about Tyler, the whole story and, being 40 and all this, and I think he's just going to be a shoo-in for the award. I think he, like you were saying, he has so much going his way where...
Well, we thought DeMar Hamlin was a shoo-in last year or 2 years ago, but that did not happen.
Flacco from the top rung.
Yeah.
Stole it from him.
So unless Flacco has a second half like that again this year.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's an interesting sort of thought I wanted to throw your guys' way, because I remember in the past we've had voters who said that they would simply refuse to vote for Rodgers just because he, of the things he says and how he's such a controversial figure. Do we think that might be a problem this year as well? Like he might go on the Pat show and he's going to say the earth is flat and that you shouldn't get vaccines or whatever. Do we think that might feed into his comeback voting?
Maybe, but at the end of the day, ball is ball. If he plays good ball, just can't deny that.
Yeah, I think he'll be pretty
exactly.
good.
Yeah, separating the art from the artist.
Yes.
So, I think I'd have to agree. I hope that's how it plays out. If that situation does happen, it certainly could. But last but certainly not least, we have the highly coveted Coach of the Year award. Last year it was won by the Browns' Kevin Stefanski. And so this is definitely going to be something that, not like Rodgers, we have 3 very different answers. One that is really interesting to me. Tyler, would you mind kicking us off with your Coach of the Year?
Yeah. I'm really debating another audible, but I'll stick with Jonathan Gannon.
Well, Tyler, can I ask you a question?
Yes.
Did you take the bus today?
Why? Oh. For how much
Who took
crap
the bus?
For how much crap he got last offseason, he really did turn out to be a pretty good coach for that team. I mean, I think we can all agree, even though that the Cardinals weren't the best team in the league this year, they were better than expected for sure. And I think that has to do a lot with Jonathan Gannon. I think that, while his team didn't put up the best numbers, they did it when it counted. And I think he's a good defensive coordinator. I think that if he gets, the right people in the right places this year, I think that they could have, middle of the road defense. I think this offense is going to be quite good this year. I worry about the offensive line as always with the Arizona Cardinals. But this is based off of, I think that the Cardinals could make the playoffs, and if they did that, I think Jonathan Gannon could be a Coach of the Year winner, just simply by last year's standards, and if they make the playoffs, it would be pretty impressive. So that's about it. I mean, I was pleasantly surprised by their performance last year. So, yeah, nothing too special with him. My other guy, real quick, who I am a little bit more confident in now that I say that, is the other half of when these two were in Philadelphia, is Shane Steichen, the Colts head coach. I really like the Colts this year. I definitely wouldn't put the Texans as a shoe-in to win that division because I think the Colts are going to be quite good as well. And, I think if the Colts just make the playoffs, win a game, I think Steichen could pretty easily win that. So,
yeah, I mean, I definitely like your Steichen pick more because I also audibled. Because I had Steichen, but then I changed it. But
lame.
I think I have to just politely disagree with your Gannon choice. I mean, while they were in a lot of games, I remember being shockingly close. They were still a team that finished 4-13 last year, and I just don't really see how they improved a whole lot. I mean, you got Marvin Harrison. Kyler's going to play a whole year, but at the same time, I'm just not really.
I think that they just
a big fan. If they can't close out games, then it doesn't matter.
I mean, one-score games.
You have to win to win.
I mean, yeah, one-score games are much more of a coin flip than people realize. You know, they can go either way, and I really like their draft class. They kind of just took like a good approach to it, which is get as many picks as possible and just scattershot it and bring in as many people as you can. And that worked out for the Rams last year. They had some very impactful rookies on their defense, and I could just see that happening with the Cardinals. Like, he's a little bit of a dark horse candidate, obviously, but I mean, there's not a whole lot of defending to it, just by the fact that I think they can greatly improve from their 4-13 record. So
I'd probably say, like, my opinion would just be I think they're still about a year off before I'd
that's fair.
Before I'd feel comfortable putting them in that conversation. Obviously, like you were saying, Tyler, like I think he proved, like, because he went into this job, we all thought he was this big goofball that was gonna maybe be a one and done or something, but I think he proved he could still coach up there with some of the best. Like, I think about that game at the end of the year last year where they went into Philly and won that. Like, that was a good coaching performance. But
definitely.
I'd still like to see the Cardinals add a couple. Like, obviously, we would love to see a good complimentary number 2 to Marvin next offseason. But I think a couple more pieces for me I'd like to see added, and I could see next year maybe they make that push where they could be like a fringe wildcard team.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I'm gonna just jump into mine quick because I don't really have a lot to say. I feel like this was the position I had the hardest thinking of who I'd go with because it's also the one that I feel like is the most unpredictable. Cause I wouldn't have guessed Kevin Stefanski last year, but I'm kind of taking a pick that I think is safe, which would be Dan Campbell for the Lions, simply because it's a team that saw really no change, because their offensive coordinator stayed. There's a lot of talk that he'd move on to coach a team, but he stayed, so that's really good. They kept all their offensive weapons, and their defense is relatively the same. And the only thing that's really different is that they got a year under their belt. And I think that the Lions are going to be a team that's going to win a lot. Because I think I'd heard that it was Goff plays a lot better when he's indoors, and then they only have 3 games that are outdoors this year during the regular season. So I think that is going to play into their hand really well. I think they're going to have one of the best records in the league, and he's a guy that, I mean, look at the complete culture turnaround that he's spearheaded. I think it's sort of like your Micah Parsons, Tyler, Dan Campbell is due. So, I would say
It just doesn't
Dan
work
Campbell.
when you say it. I'm sorry. It flows better when I say he's due. He's due. You know, Dan
the little
Campbell is
twangs.
due. Yeah.
Little twang.
But
Well, thank you for saying it. I think
Yeah.
that was going to happen.
yeah, I mean, I think in all fairness, the Lions have to put up the best record in the league in order for him to win it, just because he is like in his fifth year now. I can't remember,
I
but
think fourth,
I think
right?
fourth. Yeah, fourth sounds
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
and I think that's just because it's, there's just newer guys that I think, those guys win it more often are the new coaches that take a bad team and make them good or even mediocre. So, yeah, I think the Lions would have to have a crazy good season for them to win it. But
And I think that they're going to have that, personally.
okay.
I think they will. Decker?
Yeah, I'm not too very on board with it, but it's definitely, in the like you were saying, Sam, it's in the realm of safer pick, because Lions should be a really good team.
It's not even a safe pick. He's not even in the top 10 odds for Coach of the Year right now.
Well, tell me those odds, and I'll tell you why Dan Campbell should win.
I mean, I can't even find him. Mike McDonald is 10th
No, but
at
look-
plus 2,000.
Not going to happen.
I could check quick here. If we're really digging deep.
No, it's fine. Doug,
Yeah.
you should just get to yours. Get to
Yeah,
your
it seems
pick.
fitting. It seems fitting that I'm the one to end this award predictions, because this is a category that is very near and dear to my heart in a very bad way. Because I'm sure, as you guys remember, and our loyal listeners will remember, last time we did this exercise, I picked Nathaniel Hackett to win Coach of the Year, and the man got fired mid-season.
Oof.
So I'm shaking a little bit in my boots trying to make this pick, but
You might curse this man.
I
You
might curse
curse
him.
him.
Kirk might another Achilles might go from Kirk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I am going with Raheem Morris this year. And I know past couple years, like last year, it should have been D'Amico. Should have been the first year coach, head coach.
Yeah,
to
he
win
really
Coach
should
of the
have.
Year. Gets overtaken by Stefanski. Year before, KOC probably had a very nice argument for that. But I just think with Raheem this year, they are my division pick to win. I think they'll probably win the division pretty easily. I could see that offense is going to be, as we talked earlier about with Bijan, the offense is going to take some massive steps, or it should be. Defense is was pretty middle of the road, if I remember right, last year. I think they should
Yeah.
probably still be in that category.
They had a good run defense last year, actually.
Yeah. So I think a lot of things are in favor for Raheem. Mainly, very weak division, could stack up a lot of wins in that division and get a couple outside of that. But I could see a path to obviously playoffs, maybe a wild card win. But Morris has a pretty good chance, I could see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I would say it's. Yeah, you look at the job that that Smith did, and just how drastically wrong it was. He just has to do
the
things the way a normal
opposite.
human being would do.
Do the
Yeah,
opposite,
the
of
opposite.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, and then I think this can be a team that could, I think, as a ceiling, win like 10 games or something like that. So, definitely very possible.
Yeah. I just
Yeah.
think Coach of the Year is so interesting, especially because of last year. I mean, because I feel like it's only 3 coaches win it. It's either the coach that has the most injuries but still makes the playoffs, the coach that has the best record in football and far and away the best team, or it's like the first year coach that gets their team to like 500. I feel like no other coach wins it. But
Yeah.
and I personally, I'm not a fan of the team with the most injured, or the coach with the most injured team wins it just because they make playoffs. So yeah, I don't think Stefanski should have won. I don't think Flacco should have won Comeback Player of the Year either. But that's a can of worms we can open up
I
on a
don't
different
know.
day.
He played.
No.
He played really well.
No, he did not. No, he did not.
He did.
He was
He
on.
did.
If he played the whole season, he was on pace. He was on pace for a 30 and 30. Like, he was on pace to throw just as many interceptions as touchdowns. So I don't want to hear he played good. The Browns defense was so good last year. That's what won them those games. Even when Flacco was throwing 4 picks a game.
Yeah, and we did kind of see in the
wild
card game too. You know, when the defense didn't show up, and then
he threw what was it? 2 pick sixes that game?
Might have been a pick six and then a strip sack that got returned. Maybe. I think
Yeah.
Would have been.
So I don't know.
That game wasn't good.
Obviously, you like to cheer for a guy like Joe Flacco, but I don't think he deserved that award at all last year. So I am glad that they're looking at the requirements for that award, but I rest my case.
Well, hopefully you'll see your day in court with that one. But for now, that is the first episode of season 2 of the Moderately Athletic Podcast. I don't want to speak for you guys, but I would say it's good to be back.
Was this the best episode of a podcast ever?
I mean, despite my own personal blunder with Byron Murphy not existing for a little bit there, I would say really good episode, boys. We did good. High fives all around.
Yes.
Hey, and thank you.
Yeah,
high five to you, listener. High five to you.
Yes.
And don't forget to smile.
High five to you. Yes. And yes, Tyler, go hit the showers, but cause we about to head out.
Okay.
All right. See you later, boys.
Bye now.
Yes, sir.